Welcome back to arguably the best and the most impactful show on Kenyan television. This is the Gen Z Manifesto. Now we continue with the conversation from where we left it. But before then, it is important that I mention I reached out to some of the abductees. And immediately that happened, part of their family members reached out to me requesting that I do not have them on board. Their main concern being their safety. We had to honor their request. And now turning to Lavali Miller. Having been abducted and released, do you feel safe?
Definitely, I do not feel safe. The current state of our country does not allow for anybody to feel safe, whether it is for your physical safety or your economic safety or safety of your education, or even if you just walk into a hospital, you're not sure you're going to come back alive. That is the state of the country that we live in today. I will say this, and I'll use an example from the good book, the Bible. There was this story of the 4 lepers, where they're outside of the city of Samaria. And they were sitting there, and they were, the city was under siege. And they told themselves, if we sit here, we're going to die, definitely. If we go back to the city, there is no food in the city, so we're going to die, definitely. But there is a camp in the enemy's side, and there is food, there is provision. If we go there, there is a chance that they may kill us, but also there is a chance that we will live. So that is hope. I stand here because I have to carry hope for the younger generation, hope for our children, hope for our parents, hope for education, hope for health workers, that there is a future for them, that even with the heavy-handedness of the government that we see today, that still if we stand up against them, because the government is raining terror on us so that we fear them. The idea is that they fear us because we don't fear them anymore. And that is, the fear is gone. We are too broke as a generation to buy fear. So I would say, as I speak here today, maybe I'll even be taken if I leave this studio immediately. Maybe I might die. Maybe I may never be able to speak again. But does that stop me from fighting for what I believe in? It is a matter of principle that you cannot see injustices in our country and do nothing about it. The good people of this nation for far too long, we have sat back and waited and say maybe there will be a savior who will come to take care of us. Maybe someone else is supposed to do that. Nobody's coming.
All right. Even before I go to Shadrach, we have identified that indeed we do have a hand in the cookie jar. In one word, who do you think the hand belongs to? One word.
The one who admitted the president.
All right.
Yes.
Shadrach.
Yes, sir.
When you look at the current situation, what you termed as an admission by the presidency in terms of involvement in admissions, from a human rights perspective,
yes,
where does that put this country right now and the future of this country in terms of human rights?
Well, when we gave to ourselves the 2010 Constitution, there are certain things that we agreed, because it was a referendum that we passed that allowed us to pass this Constitution. And we agreed under Article 10 that we are a country where we are all bound by the rule of law, that we should not look at the law as an inconvenience. Well, this Constitution also provided for a framework of even dealing with the worst in our society. So much so that the accused or someone who is even suspected of murder is treated as a favorite child of the law. They are given certain safeguards to ensure that even if you are a murderer, even if you are a thief, whatever crime you've committed within the Republic of Kenya, that you are taken through a due process that guarantees you, the protection of your rights and fundamental freedom, so that if we are to hang you, if we are to sentence you to death, then we as a people are going to agree on the final verdict of the court that indeed, following the process, it is justifiable in the circumstance that we kill this individual who had killed another. This is to say that if there are situations where someone has done, a young man or a young woman has done any wrong or mistake within the Republic of Kenya, there are certain guidelines that we need to adhere to. Let us subject these people to the due process of the law in court. Let them be prosecuted for the wrongs or the mistakes that they have done. So we should not just look at the law as an inconvenience, thinking that, the case will take too long, this gentleman or the other one will continue bad-mouthing the government out there. We just need to be tolerant, accept that we have a constitution, accept that this constitution is the guiding principles that we should all accept as they are.
All right, we'll be handing over to Linda and Ms. K, but we'll be coming back to you with a question. One honorable magistrate, in the words of the honorable magistrate, police are trained to kill
Yes,
people.
yes. Not
We'll be
animals.
coming back to that. But for now, Ms. K.
Kangina, thank you so much. Now, everyone ni kama in unison, we are all saying the government is responsible. And I want to hear from this lady over here, Honorable Esther Irongo, nominated MCA Kiambu County. You're basically working for this government. Ni nini mbaya? Mbona gava yako inachoma?
Unajua, as a youth, because I'm 26 years old, I'm a Gen Z, ni kitu ngumu sana kutetea serikali. Because they're making a mistake day in, day out. Sisi tulipea rais kura kwa kujitolea sana. Badala tukulala tukimtafutia kura. Na the moment tunamkosoa, hafai kuwa natuua. Hafai kuwa abduct. Anafaa kuwa anatuita na tuuliza makosa iko wapi. Na the moment alisema ati youth wameachiliwa wote, tunataka kujua walikuwa wangapi. Na the moment tunajua waliachiliwa wote, so unajua ni nani huyo alikuwa amewafungia. Na kwa nini walikuwa wamefungiwa. Kitu kingine, kuna hii finance bill inakuja hii mwaka. I hope the same MPs won't make the same mistake wali make last year. Tena youths wauliwe kama wanyama ama youths watekwe nyara. Want to ask those MP, they make the right decision. Na hii finance bill isifinyile mwananchi. You know, life is so hard. Unapata kama ni bursaries, kama ni barabara, kama ni stima, kama ni chakula, vitu ni ngumu. Na youths akijitokelezea wanawaua. Rais, sikiza vijana. Na wakishindwa na kazi 2027 tutajitokeza. Na kitu ya mwisho nataka kuambia vijana ni wachukue kura. Kura ndio sauti yako. Usiende ujitokeleze hapa uumie bure. 2027 fanya vile unafaa kufanya. Watu wachukue kura na watu wasiuze uoga.
Thank you so much. Linda, on your side.
Well, she's a leader already.
Yes.
And let's talk about the future. Abductions in Kenya has been used as a weapon to silence activism. Yeah, but now we have future leaders right here because they are both youth leaders aspiring. This is an aspiring member of parliament. Perhaps we can start with you because you have the mic on. Speaking about the future, and we know in case there are issues arising even in your constituency, how will you avert such incidences where Gen Zs are saying stop abducting us, stop bad policies from where you sit? How do you think the government should tackle this, even as you're looking forward to being a youth leader?
Well, my name is Moses Maina, an aspiring member of parliament, Mwea constituency. First of all, I would want to say it is the government who is abducting us. And therefore, that is why, as a young man, I have decided and I said that I will go to vie for that position. Because the problem that we have is that we have MPs who only care about themselves. We have two bureaucrats in that parliament. They don't even know others don't even know to formulate policies. Most of them are just there in the hotels to cut deals and enrich themselves. That is the challenge we have. Personally, as a young leader and an aspiring MP, I understand the issues affecting the Gen Z because I am one of them. I understand mashida zenye tumepitia. We have graduated and most of us even don't have work. Maybe unaweza ona nimevaa koti uone niko na kitu lakini nikujaribu.
Nafaa utoe kitu.
But what I would say is that tunaumia huku nje. Na sisi kama vijana ndio tunaelewa mashida zenye tunapitia. That is why we have a hope and we want to tell the government that they can kill us, they can abduct us, but they cannot kill all of us. And I can tell them without fear that come 2027, I want to urge all young people, and as a leader, I will take that mandate in my constituency to ensure that I do a radicalization and sensitization, to ensure every young man has a vote. Everyone, even those who have not taken IDs, they take IDs and register as voters, so that when it comes to 2027, itakuwa kufinish kumalo. Because now, these people, wenyewe, they have the intelligence. Kama siwa wanatu abduct, wangekuwa wametafuta nani hao wana abduct watu. As my brother there said, that in a record of 2 weeks, wametafuta watu waliua the MP. But we have months, we don't know who was abducting, then it is them because they cannot investigate themselves. So I want to tell them that we are coming for them. and we have our weapon, and our weapon is the voter's card.
Thank you.
Na tubahatishi. Asanteni sana.
All the very best. But now let's get to hear from you as well. Sticking to the topic abductions, yeah, what are the policies, what are the gaps that Kenya is missing to ensure that we avert this menace?
Okay, first and foremost, my name is Timothy Turunga, and I come from Lamu County, specifically Lamu West. So what the government is lacking is accountability. The president admitted to the abduction in that he said that the people who were abducted were returned to their families. But then, where is Brian Odhiambo? Why is our government afraid of its own citizen? Why is our government afraid of its own schedule? Why is our government afraid of its own children? So the BBC documentary exposed that the KDF took part in also the extrajudicial killings. So my question will be, I remember when Al-Shabaab attacked Lamu County, the citizens saw KDF as a symbol of hope, that they believe tomorrow we'll see another day, Al-Shabaab will not attack us, because when they saw the KDF patrolling the towns, they were certain at least there is a percentage tomorrow I'll see the day, because there were rampant Al-Shabaab attacks. But then, now here we come that Al-Shabaab are part of the extrajudicial killings, but then there is no accountability. The KDF have not taken any action. You have not had even a single report on these particular claims. Okay, now this raises the question. When J.B. Muturi was the former Attorney General, he pointed fingers to our president, but then our president did not deny the claims. Also, we have the former Deputy President also pointed fingers to the same president. But this is a case of the crocodile leaving the water and telling us that the hippopotamus is sick. But then we have to believe the hippopotamus because we are not there.
Yes.
So we have to believe because they have not come out to deny the claims that they were part and parcel of all these abductions and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love the way you've said he's actually answered the question of who is the abductor.
Right.
Yeah, because he said J.B. Muturi pointed at the same person, the former deputy president pointed at the same person. Well, I heard you, Ademba, when he was speaking, you were nodding and you were agreeing to it. Kindly tell us your thoughts in regards to that as well.
You know, the government is mandated to protect us. And if you watch the documentary, the BBC documentary, all those people who were killed by the government, the police officer and the military. And according to the Kenyan, let me say, the government system, military is some of the people that bring hopes, as he said, to the Kenyan citizens. So, us finding out that it's the military that killed that person there, what does it tell us? That we don't have nobody to protect us. Then that means that even Al-Shabaab wanaweza kuja na watuue, and us thinking that it's Al-Shabaab, kumbe ni military. You see? So, if the government is not going to do what we elected them to do, remember, we are the younger generation, and we are the most, wanatuita threat actually, walituita, what was the name? Criminals. The president called the young people criminals because they went to demonstrate. And actually, the first chapter of the Constitution of Kenya gives people that power because the sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. So people went to exercise their rights to the street. They went ahead, called us criminals. And instead of, in fact, it's the government that's supposed to take part and ask, so you are in the street, why are you in the street? You see? It's their role because we put them there. And they send the Jeshi to kill these people. Just the other day, the reason I nodded, just the other day, Mama David Chege called me after watching the interview that I did with another media house. She called me at around 7. She called me crying. And I didn't know how to respond to that actually. Because yet again, I helped the son, but the son was already dead. You see? The son was already dead. The brain was scattered into 2 parts, and I covered his brains with the Kenyan flag, you see? And that aside, we have people who were abducted, but they were returned, yes. Denzel Omondi disappeared for 2 weeks. His body was discovered in a quarry. So if you're telling us that these people were returned, yes, they were returned, why was Denzel returned dead? So why? You are the government who is supposed to be protecting the people of Kenya, right? You are the government who is supposed to be protecting these 56 million Kenyans.
But then Ademba, with all these experiences, yeah, that you've gone through, what then should be done from where you sit?
What should be done, and what I'm always advocating for, is that we are the change that we want to see. It might take time, but come 2027, we are radicalizing every youth in Kenya to take part in this, not just as voters, but to vie for these positions. Because it again, MCS keep the governor in check. MPs keep the government in check. We can vie for senators, we can vie for the governor's seat, we can even vie for the presidency seat. Because if we have 15 million Kenyans, and let's say only 14 million people turn out to vote, that can make the biggest change that we've ever seen. So the biggest change that we can make is us taking part in 2027. And I will say again, we will go across the country trying to educate these people politically that you are eligible to be elected. You are in a position. You don't have to have funds to be elected so that you can bribe people. Yeah. There are MPs who don't cash out money, but they were voted. Wow. You don't have to be to have money to be sensitizing those women who are mbolea, and actually the mbolea is expired for them to vote for you. Yeah. So we are going to do that. Just the other week, we traveled across Rongai, not Rongai, Ngong, educating these people, and it's something that we are going to continue. We are not getting paid to do it, but we are doing it out of our heart to make sure that these people take part in this general election that is coming 2027. So if the government does not act, we are going to act by throwing them out. Actually, we are going to clear the swamp.
Thank
Let
you
me
so
just
much,
be
Ademba.
honest.
Miss K?
Linda, amazing. Ademba, all the best. Thank you so much for your sentiments. I want to ask our guy here. You know, Linda, tumeona, not even being a government official will spare you from, you know, from the brutality. We've seen Peter Salasya anashikwa kama mwizi. We've seen Governor Natembea.
Na wengine wamerudishwa kutoka TZ.
You know, mmechila for 4 hours. Hey, it's very tricky.
East or west.
Very
dust everywhere.
Rigiji as well, your boss, Polesana, you know. To the aspiring leaders here, you know, do you fear that you're going to also, you know, be given the same treatment once you get into power in future governments, or that's what you're trying to change, governments?
Okay. First of all, I like the mood of the country, and especially for the youths. And I have a narrative of, I rather lose the whole world, but by losing it, I evade vices and embrace virtues. In the long run, I wouldn't have lost my role in history. Now, for that reason, I am actually, I've come out because I almost saw death. Now, if I survive that death can come anytime. What is essential is, what am I leaving behind? I want to leave behind a legacy that will settle the 3 phases of abductions. And that is the traditional abductions being done by local leaders. And I'm saying this knowing very well that the local leaders, MPs, the MCS have made themselves semi-gods, where if you criticize them, they abduct you. This has happened even in my constituency. There is a boy called Ian Bomba was attacked because he criticized the incumbent MP of Budalangi. Then I also even received threats from just a mere CS, CEC of the county government of Busia, a trade minister, threatening me just because I've created a space to scrutinize our county way of using resources. So I call out Austin Ndege that I will face you. I'm ready to face you anytime. I'm ready to face the governor anytime, and you will account for our money that has been disbursed for us. The last phase is where it's being done by the government. The government the buck stops with the president. And I use the example of Burkina Faso because the president, the current military president, has made policies that have made sure that the country is propelling. So the government, the president can actually order the interior ministry or rather anybody else to make policies that are to do abductions anytime.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Linda, that was a heavy topic.
Wow. It's been a powerful show, yeah?
Very, very
You know,
powerful
right
show.
here at Gen Z Manifesto, we speak their names, we tell their stories, and we demand a world where no one disappears for speaking out. Well, that's all for me. My name is Linda Koskei.
Lovely, Linda Kagina.
Well, indeed, if this studio had a chimney, then tonight we'd have white smoke. Indeed, knowing the direction as to who has the details on the abductors. It's that for now. But what we conclude by saying is that no one deserves to be treated against the law. Ms. K.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kagina. Now, as we close the show tonight, here are my 2 cents. You see, we live in a country where the official opposition party shared kisses and hugs with the ruling party. Therefore, civilians ended up being their own watchdogs with the support of few rebels of the former opposition party and leaders who changed their tone after realizing they were played. And as a result, threats, forceful arrests, and deaths have taken place. Majority of police have gone rogue. Goons have become a norm, such that when police are deployed to maintain law and order as they should, goons are also deployed too, and not even government officials have been spared from these diabolical activities. It's a shame. It's a shame that we seem to be ruled by overly emotional persons who choose careless reaction over rule of law to prove a point that they are the ones who hold the power. But newsflash, wakubwa, Gen Zs are saying you cannot abduct them all, you cannot kill them all. Time is ticking, and everyone shall be served exactly what they dished out. I rest my case. My name is Miss Kahiro, and this has been the Gen Z Manifesto. See you next Tuesday.
Kameme TV, Muthegi wa Rũrĩrĩ.
Umako.
Niki.